So the tale of white tea au fraiche for skin sensitive for spots. I saw this pop up quite a while ago on Fragrantica. There was one review came up saying that they'd smelt it in store, but then I couldn't find it anywhere. I kept searching for it on Google. They didn't have it on the Elizabeth Arden website. There was nothing about it anywhere for quite a while. And then it started popping up on My Origins, which is a site I have ordered from before. It's in Europe, and they did post to the UK. But they had the 30ml, the 50ml, and the 100ml, and they'd sold out of the 30ml. So I thought, right, maybe I'll just wait for that to come back into stock. And then they completely changed their website. They redid it, and everything was now mainly in French. It's really hard to actually work out how to use it now, and I'm not sure if they still ship to the UK. So I was like, right, that's not going to happen. And then it turned up finally on the Elizabeth Arden website, but they only have the 100, or at least they had, I think it's still the case, they only had the 100ml bottle. I don't need a bottle of any of the white teas in 100ml because I already have 2 different white teas and I don't wear them all the time. So, they're not like a signature scent. So I was like, I don't really want a 100ml bottle. I definitely don't want to spend £45 on it because that's more money than I normally spend on perfumes unless they're incredibly special to me or it's for a very special occasion. And white tea is much more of a kind of everyday, easygoing, clean kind of scent, So I was like, I kept looking at it and thinking, I do really want to review it for my channel, but I don't really want to spend that kind of money. And then they had the coronation, like over the coronation weekend, they had a special offer. So I managed to get this bottle for £30. I think it was about £30, with free delivery. So it arrived yesterday, and I'm filming this to go up on the Saturday just as a little special one. Partly also because I realised I've been doing my channel. I totally missed my 1 year anniversary on my channel. So I've been doing these videos for over a year now. And I thought this would be a nice way to celebrate because I'm sure one of my early videos was, I did a lot of Elizabeth Ardens in my early videos, and particularly green tea, which is still my absolute favourite. Personally, I prefer the original green tea to any of the other, any white teas, and just any of the other green teas. I don't like the flankers, generally speaking, because I love the original so much. So the one and only Fragrantica review of this said it was like a mixture of green tea and white tea. That's kind of the vibe that they got from it. I wanted to have a look at all the reviews on the actual website, but they are literally all reviews given by people who have been gifted this. So again, not to cast any aspersions, but I think generally speaking, if you've been gifted a perfume and every single one of those reviews says it's amazing, I'm not going to trust it, okay? So I thought that you guys, and because I'd been looking for it so long, I'm sure there's loads of people who have been wanting to know what this smells like, and I imagine a lot of my subscribers like the white tea collection, so I thought, right, let's just do it, and I'm going to get it up straight away. So I've got this one on one hand. I've got the original white tea on the other. So I've also got my other 2 white teas so I can discuss the whole lot. But let's start with the box. The box is beautiful. Rather than having the kind of two-toned, kind of shiny box, it's a plain box with what looks like this stunning kind of almost X-ray of a flower. I just love it. And I have to say, this is my favourite bottle from the white tea collection. It does kind of stay with that simple kind of vibe that you get with Elizabeth Arden bottles, but unlike green tea, these are a much more attractive fare, I feel. So let's have a look. You can see against dark, and there you have it. It's so beautiful. It's got, again, like this kind of X-ray look about it. I think it's very, very pretty. I really like it. So it's hard to choose the best position for this. On the website, on the Elizabeth Arden website, it goes on and on and on and on. It doesn't have like an actual breakdown. It only has like the main notes, so it doesn't have the top, middle and base so much like with everything that's in it. So I'll just read what it says from Elizabeth Arden, and then I'll also tell you what it says on Fragrantica. So Clean, bright interpretation of the white tea fragrance captivates with the same base composition of the original. So it doesn't actually list on here or Fragrantica that there's any tea in this. It doesn't list Mate, it doesn't list white tea, green tea, any of them. But if it's on the same base as the original white tea, we just have to assume, right, there is actually tea in this. Invigorating citrus and swirl of florals, crafted with vegan, mindfully sourced ingredients with Viva Sense technology. I still don't really know what that is. Harmonized keynotes for perfect balance. I'll have to just believe them. So, okay, here's the important bit. The fragrance opens with blood orange, mandarin oil, bergamot, and Anjou pear, which gives way to a heart of lily of the valley, splashed with the watery uplift of sea breeze accord. The grounding notes of Venezuelan tonka bean and blonde woods mingle with musk to infuse the scent with a lingering warmth. Okay. As you can imagine, this is quite light. When you first spray it, it's less alcoholic smelling than the original, which surprised me. But I think that's just because there is a lot of mandarin orange oil in the top. So you get that smell of like a citrus oil. And then it's definitely salty. I really can smell that lily of the valley and the water lily. This smells, it has a slight aquatic vibe to it, this one. I mean, to be fair, the original does a little bit. But smelling the original is creamier and sweeter. Yeah. It's also more of a skin scent. Now that might sound insane, but the original white tea to me is very pretty. It's slightly woody, but it's very, very light, you know. All of the white teas are very light. But because of the citrus in this one, it has a little bit more going on in terms of it's almost more noticeable away. It smells a little bit more like a perfume and a little bit less like a skin, you know, just like a soft, clean skin, which is what I think the original smells like. Now, I did have the original bottle, but I decluttered that one in order to just keep my ginger lily because that was my favourite. So I'm just spraying it from this lovely little sample, which I like to keep, you know, as a comparison. And yeah, that one's definitely sweeter, definitely creamier, definitely more like your skin but better. This one is a fresh and summery smell, as you can imagine, because it's called Eau Fraiche. It's not massively different. Let's just be honest about that. It still has the same base as the original. It's still very light. Honestly, it still doesn't last very long. I tried this when I first got it, and I think I maybe maximum 2 or 3 hours I could smell it. I get a little bit of that blood orange in the dry down, but I think my favourite part of this is the pear. I think the pear is very, very light, slightly juicy, but I do get a little bit of a vibe for it. This one is going to be too sharp for some people, I think. I think if you like the original white tea, but it's kind of on that verge of being a little sharp for you, definitely this one will be too sharp. If you don't like green tea, you probably won't like this one. If you think that one's sharp, I mean, I think green tea is like the most perfect perfume. It was one of the best perfumes ever made, personally. I don't find it sharp at all, but I know some people do. If you think that one's sharp, you'll think the same of this. This does not, to me, compare to green tea. It doesn't have that same kind of quite spa-like quality. It's more zesty and a little bit more citrusy. But yeah, when I tried this out yesterday when I first got it, the very deep dry down is where I felt like I could sense the blood orange the most. Because you definitely get that sharp bergamot and mandarin oil right in the top. And then I think in this mid-section, I'm getting a little bit more of that pear, and then and there's quite a lot of lily of the valley. So I have to say this is not my favourite, because I do not really like water lily and lily of the valley very much in terms of being dominant florals in a perfume. They're not my favourite. They are, I mean, this is probably the closest white tea to being able to give me a headache, if that gives you an idea. And again, it's not actually screechy, but it's just because lily of the valley and water lily are florals in perfumes that can sometimes be a little bit screechy to me, but these are very mild. The whole thing's very mild. It's quite woody. I would say the wood's really high up in this one. In fact, yeah, it's more woody than the original. I think the wood is much stronger in this one than in any of the others. And one of the reasons I got rid of the original was because sometimes it started to lean a bit masculine on me. But if I compare these two, yeah, this new one is way woodier, way woodier. So on Fragrantica, they list, I think the notes are pretty similar. Top notes, blood orange, bergamot, mandarin, orange and pear. Middle notes, C notes, mahonial, lily of the valley and water lily. Base notes, whitewood, musk and tonka bean. Say that this one is probably closest to the white tea mandarin blossom in terms of like how it actually smells. So it still has, I mean, it's definitely not identical, but it still has, because it has different florals, but it's still like that kind of base of the original white tea, but then you've got like quite a lot of citrus going on and it's a bit more orangey. You've also got some exotic fruits apparently in that one, but yeah, so it's probably closest to that one. It doesn't smell anything like the rose one, and the other ones I've got, so I have white tea ginger lily. I've had to roll my sleeve up so I can okay, so white tea ginger lily. This one is super yummy and spicy. It's like, the reason I liked it was because of that ginger. It's still based on the original. Oh, I forgot to mention that the original is top notes of C notes, fern, clary, sage, mandarin orange. Middle notes of white tea, mate, white iris, ambrette, exotic woods, tonka bean and amber. And I think, yeah, that iris and the ambrette, that's what making that kind of beautiful, creamy, almost skin scenty kind of scent. Oh, the problem is smelling the original against this one. I'm now regretting selling my original. Maybe one day I'm just going to get another little bottle of it because I'm clearly in the mood for it today. It smells like a stunning skin scent today. But my the ginger lily one, it has bitter orange, bergamot, neroli and mandarin orange in it, and then the middle notes are ginger, white ginger lily and violet. The base notes are musk, mate, cedar and tonka bean. Now, I think that this one is one of the strongest because that ginger is like, woof, it's like a shot of ginger. You know, like the ones that you drink. That's what it smells like when you first spray it. I'm not mad for neroli, but I do love violet and I love ginger lily. And this one is probably, well, it was my favourite and then I got this other one. So the other one I have is white tea eau de parfum. So let's just make this look glorious, shall we? As much as I can. I've had to roll my sleeves up so I can sniff everything. So, the eau de parfum, to me, is a rose perfume. Yeah, it still is. It's a rose perfume. It's, again, slightly less creamy, slightly less skin scenty, but it's also slightly less woody. And there's a lot of rose water in there. So the eau de parfum is clary sage, Italian mandarin and C notes. Middle notes of white tea, jasmine, rose water and mate. Base notes of musk, amberwood and tonka bean. Yeah, really comforting. Smells very clean and pretty and fresh. And it's just generally just very lovely. Let's just spread these out a bit so we can actually get... I just love that bottle. I mean, the white tea eau de parfum bottle, bless it, it's not the most exciting, is it? But, you know. So, yeah, I think if I'd have been able to smell this in store, I would have just tried to get a sample of it to talk to you about, and I wouldn't have bought a bottle. That's how I feel about Eau Fraiche. I think it's perfectly pretty. I think it's really wearable. It's going to be great in summer. However, if I wanted something with this feel, I would always pick green tea. That's just how I feel about that. Because I love green tea. It envelops me in like this beautiful smell of a spa. It's the perfect kind of level of sweetness and sharpness, and I just adore green tea. So I wouldn't reach for something that's like a sort of white tea version of that perfume, and I feel like that this is stepping into that realm. It's sort of sharper than the original, it's fresher than the original, it's more zingy, it's more summer, like really summer appropriate, you know. And it's really pretty, it definitely is. I like it a lot, but yeah, I mean, I don't like it more than either of my others, and as I said, I don't like it more than green tea, so it's not one that I think I need, and I will probably not keep this one. It might be one that I take a little decant from so that I have it on hand, or if I want to try and spritz it on. I will try and give it a full day wear test at some point, but I mean, to be honest with you, especially because the wood is so high in it, I don't really feel like I particularly want to wear this for a full day. So it's not that I don't like it, it's just that I have really close alternatives to it that I much prefer. I love the rose in the eau de parfum, and I love that really, I mean, it's so spicy in ginger lily, but it's also slightly more feminine than the original. It's less unisex in a way, it's just got a sweetness. Oh, I love it. So yeah, I mean, my feeling is that I don't love this Eau Fraiche. It's pretty. If you love the original white tea, but you want something that's more zingy and fresh, and then that makes sense. If you don't have any of the white teas and you also don't have green tea, this might be a really good kind of all-rounder, because it does have that. The lady who reviewed it on Fragrantica said it is almost like those two perfumes meeting. I think she's got a point. I think it's the vibe of a green tea perfume, but with the white tea base, you know. So yeah, that was a very long review of just one perfume, but anyway, that's my feelings about it. As much as I love the bottle, I think I probably won't keep this one.